and Senator Alexander for speaking so forcefully on this issue. All of us in this body are elected officials, and we take an oath. And in that oath, we raise our right hand and we promise our nation that we will uphold the Constitution of the United States. This very sacred document that has so soundly guided our great country from one decade to another, one century to another, one generation to another. In fact, many of my colleagues in Congress took that oath earlier this month. Just 10 days ago, President Obama took the presidential oath of office. Great pomp and circumstance. We were all on the platform with him. He promised the nation that he would preserve and defend the Constitution of the United States. But I fear, Madam President, that now what we are seeing is a flaunting of that very document. You see, the D.C. Court of Appeals ruled that the President violated the Constitution with his appointment of 3 members to the National Labor Relations Board. Well, I read the opinion. I saw no other solution than to ask these individuals to leave. Now, many of us have said, myself included, resign. But the truth of the matter is, it's not about resigning. They are not lawfully there and need to leave. Now, this request wasn't about a personal preference or an attitude about any one individual. It wasn't about their qualifications. It was about the oath of office we take. And that oath of office says we will uphold the Constitution. The NLRB appointments were unconstitutional because the President only has the power to bypass our advice and consent role here in the United States Senate under the language of the Constitution. The court unequivocally found that the appointments that were made last January while the Senate was not in recess and were therefore void. Therefore, the President could not lawfully use the recess appointments clause of the Constitution to appoint these individuals. The ruling correctly concludes, and I'm quoting, allowing the President to define the scope of his own appointments power would eviscerate the Constitution's separation of powers. The separation of powers, Madam President, is a critical safeguard to ensure that one branch of government does not overstep the other. The court goes on to say that allowing these nominations to stand, quote, would wholly defeat the purpose of the framers in the careful separation of powers, unquote. Additionally, because these appointments were unconstitutional, the board lacked the quorum necessary to act over the past year. So if they are not lawfully there, if they are there violating the Constitution, this calls into question over 200 rulings of the board since last January. I personally believe that there is no doubt if they are not lawfully there, if they are there violating the Constitution, then all of their rulings, all of their regulations, all of their actions as a board are illegal and void.